Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Well, today we are going to see a common stress pattern in English, which is stress shift from words, from some words to other words, specifically from verbs, nouns to adjectives. Now consider the passage here. Sorry. So consider the passage here. You've got some words which are in red. So consider the words, then note how they are pronounced. What do you notice, of course? The Academy accepted to academize our institution after the report of the academists. So we should be academic in our job and provide different subjects to be recognized as an academical school by our learners too, and avoid being tagged as unacademical by some critics. Unacademical by some critics. So of course, as you may have noticed, so the words in red are pronounced differently, of course. Okay? Now, in first one here, these words here, the first three words here, the stress, if we start counting from the beginning, is on the second one, on cat, and cat. But when I use the adjectives, so the stress here, as you can see, is on the third one here, on the third syllable, and here it is on the fourth one because I added the prefix here. See? Academy, academist, academize, academic, academical, and academical. Okay? So the stress here is on the second syllable from the beginning. And if we start counting as usual, of course, from the end, so it is on the anti-penultimate, the third syllable from the left, from the end. Now, when I use the adjective here, and the stress here moved its position here and fell on the penultimate, the one before the last. See? Academic, academical, and academical. So why? Why did the stress change its position here? Well, the stress changed its position here, or shifted, of course, as we call it. So shifted, of course, because of these suffixes here. Ik and equal, these kind of suffixes here. When we added these suffixes to this word here, we change, so they change the position of the stress, because these suffixes here are strong suffixes. When these kind of suffixes are added to words, they cause the stress shift. Now, and as you can see here, the direction here of the shift is rightward. It's towards the right. Should be very careful. So the shift here, or the change, occurs or happens towards the right. See, towards the right. So it is rightward here. Okay, so in these words here, so the stress is on the third syllable, of course. But you might ask a question here. Someone might ask a question and say, well, we have got a suffix here. Academist, we've got suffix here. Why don't we put the stress on the syllable before the suffix here and we say academist, academist? Well, this suffix here is what we call a weak suffix. And weak suffixes do not affect stress position, of course. So these kind of suffixes here, when they are added to words, they do not affect the position of the stress. So the stress here remains on the second one, of course, or on the penultimate. On the anti-penultimate is if we start counting from the end. But when we added the strong suffixes ik and equal to the word, so the stress shifted here, rightward to the syllable. before the suffix. We call it the penultimate, the second from the end. And this is very common, of course, stress pattern in English. And we can have other examples, of course, like economy, economize, economist. See, if we start counting from the beginning, it is on the second one. If we start counting from the end, so it is on the third one, anti-penultimate. But when I use the adjective here, let's say economic, economic, economical, and economical. See? So the stress here moved from this one here to the third one here, to this one here. Why? Because of the addition, we added these suffixes here. Now, another example, theory, theorize, theorist. See? The stress here is on the first one if you start counting from the beginning, or from the end, it is on the anti-penultimate. We've got 3 syllables here. Now, when we added the suffixes ik and equal, so the stress, changed its position and fell on the penultimate, the one before the last. Theoretic, theoretic, theoretical, theoretical, and theoretical, and theoretical. So when we add strong suffixes to some words, these suffixes affect stress position, by moving it from one syllable to another. I think that you are familiar with this term here, what the ultimate syllable. Suppose this is your word here. The ultimate syllable, it is the last one. The penultimate syllable, it is the second from the end, from the end, 1, 2. And when we say the anti-penultimate, that means it is the third from the end, 1, 2, and the 3.